just got out of McDonald's, and while I was there, received a phone call from somebody who saw on my truck and decided to give me a call. Person has a property over, I'm not gonna say the street or the road, but it's an okay road, kind of between country and not and city. And he says that his property is worth 1.3 million and this and that he wants to let it go for $1 million, that he'll be all right for $1 million. Me being me, I started digging, try to contact with the person, be friends basically. I said, have you considered becoming a partner? In which he did not know what that meant at that time. And I explained to him, which is what I want to explain to you guys. So this gentleman owns the land, about 10 acres, outright. He owns it. Yet it sounds like he doesn't have either the time or the money to invest on this land, but he wants to sell it. It is not time to sell. If you're selling, no, it's not time to sell. You need to read all the stuff that I've posted on LinkedIn. It is not time to sell, period. It is time to buy, and those who are buying will buy on their terms, but it's not time to sell. He wants to sell, and when I said partner, here's what I meant. He needs to find somebody who has the time, knowledge, and resources to place a building in his lot, his 10-acre lot. Why? Well, because if he sells the lot, let's say he sells out $1 million, which I don't think is going to be worth that, but let's say he does. The first thing he has to pay is the realtor, and then he has to pay the county, and then he has to pay capital gains, which a lot of people forget about. So you're not going to end up with $1 million, for sure you're not. My experience is you lose between 10 to 15% of what you sold for. What that means is he has to find other ways in order not to keep losing, because he already lost $300,000 theoretically. How to do it? Well, the only way not to pay none of that is by getting a loan or lending it to somebody. What do I mean with that? Well, if you go out and get a loan for your property, you're not going to gain capital gains. You're not. It's a loan. You're not going to pay a realtor. You haven't sold the property. And the taxes that you're supposed to pay to the city remains the same, because the value of the property has not changed. It's called the assessment value of the property. Has not changed. What do I mean to lend it to somebody? Well, that means that you become partnered with somebody. Let's say person A owns the property, owns the land. Person B has the resources, time, and knowledge. They enter into an agreement where an assessment of the value of that property is taken. Let's say you call an appraiser, and the appraiser say, okay, yeah, it is worth $1 million. Okay, that's value at that time of start of the business deal. And then person B plants a building there. His money, his time, his knowledge, he does everything. The owner A does not do a thing, only letting him work on that land. So, at the end of the construction, an appraiser comes by again and appraise both land and property. The difference, obviously, is value appraised. And with the first million, let's say now it's worth 3 million. So the A owns 1/3 of the property and B owns 2/3 of property. That allows for two things, two main big things. Number one, owner A doesn't cost him a thing, doesn't cost him a penny to develop the land and avoid paying taxes. Sounds bad, but that's what it is. B doesn't have to invest. His investment is a lot less because he or she didn't have to buy the land at a 1 million appraise. So he saved 1 million there. Now the entire property is developed. This is commercial. They start getting customers, renters. Of that rent that they start getting out, the one, what's it called? The 1/3 owner, which is the A owner, start getting 1/3 of the rent. And the B owners start getting 2/3 of the rent. Can get a little bit more complicated if you want to. I mean, getting the bank involved and all that. But when you start doing that, you should also start considering if investor B don't have the money and he need to run to the bank to get the money, then why doesn't investor A can or should do the same thing? In that sense, I mean, we can talk more about that later, which is not a big issue. It's just that it gets a little bit more complicated. But that's my point. That's what the message I'm trying to get across is: if you own land right now and it's in a good location, it doesn't really mean that you're going to sell that land for the value you want. You'll be better off partnering up with someone else who does have the money to develop the land. It's a mutual benefit in that transaction, and you'll get more out of that in the long run. My suggestion always is you want, the fastest you want your money, the more money you're gonna sacrifice. If you are willing to wait longer, you're gonna get a lot more money, a lot more revenue. It's not about money, it's about the value, retaining the value. Somebody has to pay the losses, and it's usually the one who wants its money faster. You're willing to wait, you'll get more. It's like the story of the kid who is told there's a chocolate cake in front of you, but if you don't eat it and you wait until tomorrow, I'll give you 2 chocolate cakes. It's like that. So with that, I hope you guys like this video and subscribe down below. Thank you.